What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about the best strikers for Guild Raid. And the reason I'm going to be focusing on Guild Raid is because this is the most rewarding game mode in the game. In this game mode, you can actually get double attack stones as well as other little goodies, but these double attack stones are really where it's at. It's the only place in the game you can actually get these unless you're going to be buying certain KOF passes or maybe it deals in the shop. So this is the only free-to-play option we have to getting these stones. And whether you're playing in Lunatic, Expert, or Hard, you can actually get them stones. Now, to figure out what strikers are the best, you have to figure out what characters are actually the metas. And when it comes to Hard mode, the metas are definitely going to be SS Mai, Rachel, Kay, and Neskio. In my opinion, they are the best characters for this game mode because you need burn damage to break the meter for Rugal. Who's the best striker for, and you're actually going to find there's some synergy here between some of these characters, but SS Mai is the absolute goddess here. And if you have Rachel, which everybody should if they were playing during the 7 Nights collab, she gets bumped up by SS Mai's leadership, which is massive, right? You could even put Eileen on here, but in all honesty, just to keep things very simple, you could just switch between SS Mai and Rachel and do insane damage. And say you're using Lovely Alice as the leadership. She offers 65% increase to red element fighters. Well, if you have Alice in the leadership, you could put Rachel and Kay on there and just fluctuate between Rachel and Kay or between Neskio and Kay or whatever, right? You can just fluctuate between two characters and you'll easily get a high enough score to get the maximum amount of rewards. So for SS Mai, it's definitely going to be Neskio. He is the best striker, and when it comes to the first character that you're using, whether it's SS Mai or any other kind of leadership character, you really just want to use a striker that offers damage. That's really what you want. There are certain situations where maybe you would have a striker that adds survivability, but you want characters that have a good link effect and offer damage. In SS Mai's case, Neskio actually decreases skill cooldown by 1 second, which is really great, and then increased attack by 15%, and the increased attack speed, which is very good for her. Mai already has insane PG gain. She has 45% PG rate from her core and the first imprint stone, so she really doesn't need a PG striker. And again, when it comes to the first damage dealer, you really don't want to use PG strikers. The second two, then there's an argument to be made for that. But in the first one, no, I don't think so. And then Rachel, it's going to be Eileen. We talked about that multiple times. The 20% PG gain, the 20% PG gain is just absolutely insane when you tag in this character. Plus, you get the decreased skill cooldown and the obtained 10% power when using an ultimate move. And then when it comes to K, if you're actually using K, it's actually going to be Neskio. And if you're using Neskio, then it's going to be K. And if you're using Lovely Alice, you don't even need to put a striker on her because, again, like I mentioned earlier, you just bring in Alice and then you just fluctuate between your two burn damage characters, whether it be Rachel and Kay, or Kay and Neskio, or Rachel and Neskio. It would really depend on what they are. And obviously, if you're using SS Mai, more than likely you're not using Kyo, so you can use them as a striker for this game mode. Now, when it comes to Expert, things change a little bit when it comes to the metas. So on Expert mode, you need Darkness. And the Omega team for Darkness is definitely going to be SS Mai. And I really think Dylan would still be there, but actually Lady Geese, there's a great argument for her because she actually gets bumped up by SS Mai. And then Eileen, that is the Omega team. And Eileen, of course, is going to be Rachel because of the 20% PG gain. Dylan is going to be Nameless because of the PG gain as well. And the increased attack by 10% and decreased damage received to help his survivability a little bit. If you're using Rugal, and Rugal isn't the best choice, but he is a good choice, Omega Rugal is actually the best link for him here. Because whenever you're playing with Omega, a lot of times he'll get exploded on whenever Guild Raid Rugal blows up. And having this decreased damage received, the decreased skill cooldown, and the heal is very good for Omega. You know, as long as he keeps getting blown up on, it's fine. He's just going to keep getting a heal, and he's going to get bumped up something fierce by Omega as far as his attack, which is exactly what I mentioned earlier. And if you're using SS Mai, it's still going to be Neskio. And if you're using Orochi Iori, then there's two strikers that really stand out for him if you are able to keep them alive. If you're having survivability issues, we'll talk about other strikers that you can use. But if you can keep them alive, definitely Okita and Winter Leona are the best characters for him. Both of them characters offer 30% critical damage as strikers. So Okita here, if you take a look at his striker effect, he offers that 30% critical damage. And Winter Leona does the same thing. So if you don't have Okita, Winter Leona is always in the game. And if you are using SS Mine, you want to use Lady Geese for your darkness damage dealer. Well, we find old Lady Geese here. And you look at her striker relations. I really think the best one is actually Howard here, which obtains 15% of power at the start of the stage, and then you always have the decreased skill cooldown by 1 second. Now, Alice is still an actually really good one. You get the increased power charge rate by 10%. In all honesty, you'd probably level up Alice before you ever would Howard. To be fair, she is a fest character, and remember, the higher the level of the awakening, like if you're a 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star awakened character, the more CP they're going to add to your damage dealer. So that's something to keep in mind. So for some people, I think Alice is going to be the better striker, but if you do have your Howard leveled up and get that 15% power gain, that's going to be very important for Lady Geese because she does have immunity in her core, but she needs survivability. And whenever, as long as Rugal doesn't blow up and she goes into her special skill, she can do a lot of damage and avoid taking damage from when he's doing regular attacks. I've never tried that team. I might actually try that in the future, SS Mai, Lady Geese, and Eileen, and give you guys some feedback on that. But I think that might be the ultimate team, the best team. At least I would think so. I'm not really sure because of Lady Geese. Eileen and Mai definitely, but I've never tried Lady Geese in all honesty. But I believe Howard would be, Geese from crafting would be the best choice for her. And then of course there's Psyche. And Psyche's a little bit different situation. I don't think he's the best character for this, but I have done videos about using him. And when it comes to relation effect, well, I don't know why I clicked on that. When it comes to his relations, in all honesty, guys, Elizabeth, the last duty here, is the best. The obtain 20% power at the start of the stage and obtain 10% power when using ultimate move, decrease skill cooldown by 1 second, is massive. That is freaking wonderful. And then, if you're actually having trouble keeping Psyche alive, Ash here has the link effect of the increased attack equal to 15% of defense, which is really great for Psyche. You do get the PG gain, and you also will get a heal and super armor from Ash, which really could help. So it'd probably be Ash or Elizabeth, really depending on which one you're using. Like whichever character is leveled up higher, that's probably the character I would use. But if you really want that fast PG gain, then Elizabeth is going to be the best choice. And then we have Lunatic, where you actually need starlight damage. So let's move over here. There we go. And this is the mega team right here. And again, we've already talked about SS Mine. We've already talked about Eileen. We've talked about Orochiori. And Athena here, actually, Kula is not the best choice. It's just I'm using Kula because she's at 4-star. She's just going to add a lot more damage to Athena. She's going to add a lot more CP. And you do get the increased attack by 15% if HP is 70% or more. And then when it's below 30%, we still get the increased attack by 15%. Athena, if you have her new 3PG, actually gets a heal. So she's probably always going to be above that 70%, and she's going to get that increased attack by 15%. However, Goro here is actually the better support, in my opinion, because you actually get the obtained power by 3% when killing an enemy, which isn't no good against Rugal because you're not killing anyone, but you get the obtained 15% of power at the start of the stage. And then you get the obtained 10% power when using an ultimate move. All these PG gain strikers, if you don't have like the Intama cards or the collab cards that add PG gain, these PG strikers for your last two characters, not the first damage dealing character, not the character in leadership, but the other two characters, these PG gains might be much better for you because you won't have those collab cards. And even I, who do, I do have the collab cards, I still would prefer to use those PG gain strikers, especially if they're offering attack on top of PG gain. And then if you don't have Eileen, and you're using Ginetz, if you're using Ginetz for expert mode, you're using Iori, Delans, and Ginetz, or using Iori, Lady Geese, and Ginetz, or Psyche in the middle. I mean, I've tried them. Then for Ginetz, whoops. It's like if you hold it for a second too long, it'll go into the other screen. But for Ginnets here, and if you don't have Eileen, you really should be playing with Ginnets on Expert or Lunatic mode. But Ginnets, let's see if I can find him. Where you at, buddy? There you are. But Ginnets here, I always do that. The best striker, in my opinion, really is Zero. Zero offers the increased attack by 10%. And you could use a PG gain striker. You absolutely could do that. You know, you could use, Mecha Ginnets, but the increased power charge rate by 3% isn't a lot. But the decreased skill cooldown is good. But I've always used Zero again because he's leveled up. That's the thing, Zero and Mukai, both on my account, are leveled up. So they're actually better strikers because they're going to offer a lot more CP. They're going to add a lot more CP to Ginnets. These are things you need to really keep in mind. We're not all going to use the same strikers. Maybe you're having trouble keeping your character alive and you'd rather use strikers that have heals, something of that nature, like 98 Athena, who's the best healer in the game, giving you 30% heal, which is freaking insane. Now to throw out a couple little honorable mentions as far as strikers go. So in the select fighter event, you could select either Billy or you could select Joe. And Billy here is absolutely insane because he gives 20% PG gain. So if you don't have certain PG gain strikers, he is freaking insane. And he's actually really great for time attack as well, just to throw him out there. And Joe, let's see if I can find old Joe here. And Joe's really great because he actually gives a heal and he decreases damage received by 60%. I've talked about Joe in the past in other videos. He is absolutely wonderful for this thing. Then, of course, Ash, with the healing and the super armor. And there's a whole slew of other characters that offer heals and super armors. If you guys would like a video about that, I'll gladly make it. But, I wanted to throw out Joe and Billy because they could be very helpful in Guild Raid. That PG gain and having that heal and decreased damage received could come in very, very handy on a character like Orochiori, who is a very popular character in Guild Raid. And honestly, even against Omega, if your Omega isn't leveled up like mine. So that concludes the list of the best strikers for Guild Raid. Let me know if I missed anybody. And as always, let me know what characters you've gotten, what cards you've gotten. And I stream at Twitch at 9 a.m. GMT plus 7 time from Monday to Thursday. The link will be in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.